Hey, and welcome to the Winning Daily Show. We're back after a 2-day hiatus due to not much to bet on, but we got a full slate to bet on today. Whole lot of action today. I think we have 18 overall picks for this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow morning as we get into some of the early Premier League stuff at early morning, and then we'll have a new show on Saturday afternoon to get into the rest of the soccer for Saturday. But let's start out in Major League Baseball. We got one pick today in Major League Baseball. Just did not like any of the lines today. Was very tempted to take him against the Boston Red Sox. Chris Sale at minus 320 on just his second start seemed like a real high juiced line, especially with the way the Red Sox have been playing, but couldn't quite pull the trigger on that one. The one we're going to pull the trigger on is the Milwaukee Brewers at minus 190 versus the Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals have won 2 games in a row, which probably means they're going to lose a lot more in a row. We're going to ride that and take the Milwaukee Brewers at minus 190. Really like that this line's under 2-1. Pretty decent matchup today. We don't know who the pitcher quite yet for the Nationals is going to be, but it's probably going to be someone that's not very good. So we're going to ride the Brewers at minus 190 and think we got a pretty good price there. All right, let's move on to tennis and the Cincinnati Masters as that begins to round down and we get to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Let's start in the ATP and the men. We're going to go with Felix Auger-Aliassime plus 3.5, minus 110 versus Stefano Tipsas. Really have liked that the way Felix has been playing. Really has cruised through this tournament after having some struggles in the Canadian Masters. He's gone through and been really good in the Cincinnati Masters, beating Matteo Berrettini last night, 6-4, 6-3. So I think he's playing really good tennis. Tipsas is going to be a tough one, but I just think this is a really good matchup. Alsame has 2 wins over Tipsas. They've played a total of 6 times, so 4 wins for Tipsas, 2 for Alsame, but one of those is on a hard court. So I think this is a pretty good matchup, especially with the spread you're getting at 3.5. I really like the way Felix is playing. I think this will be a tight matchup. So plus 3.5 for Felix Alsame versus Stefano Tipsas. Next up, we're going to go with Casper Ruud, also plus 3.5, plus 105 versus Alexander Zverev. Really like this. I think Casper Ruud's probably got a good chance here at the upset. Zverev coming off a nice Olympic gold medal, but he's had 2 sort of easy matches here in Cincinnati, and I just like the way Casper Ruud looked yesterday versus Diego Schwartzman, 6-4, 6-3 win. They have played never before, so this will be the first time they match up, so I think that plays in Casper Ruud's favor, especially getting those 3.5 games. You get a nice little plus 105 with that plus 3.5, so we're going to take both underdogs here in Felix Alsame and Casper Ruud, both at plus 3.5 versus Zverev and Tipsas, and then we're going to go with the big favorite here, Medvedev at minus 3.5, minus 155 versus Pablo Carreno Busta. You might recognize this because this is a replay from the Olympic Games that was just played a couple weeks ago. Medvedev lost that one, but since then he has bounced back, won the Canadian Masters, has cruised through 2 matches so far, played Mackenzie McDonald, won 6-2, 6-2, played Grigor Dimitrov, won 6-3, 6-3. So he has really cruised since his really a stunning loss in the quarterfinals in the Olympics. Meanwhile, Busta has played a tough match the other day versus Herkovitz. I think that'll come back to haunt him a little bit, and I think Medvedev gets his revenge here. I think he blows him out pretty good. Overall, they've played 5 times. Medvedev's has won 3 of them. Busta's won 2 of them, including that Olympic matchup that they just played. But before that, Medvedev had won the last 2. So I really like Medvedev to cruise today and really sort of beat up on Pablo Busta. casualties. Plus, minus 3.5, minus 185. I know you're getting juiced pretty good, but I just think this will be a nice one, really, where they cruise really, really nicely for Denny Medvedev. All right, this is time for the women. We only got one we really, really like, and we're going to go with Kerber here at plus 2.5 versus Kvitova. I just like the way Kerber's been playing. Had that semifinal loss to Wimbledon, won that Hamburg tournament, has played really well in the Cincinnati Masters tournament, and Kvitova really sort of struggled. First round loss in Wimbledon, first round loss in Prague, second round loss in the Olympics, second round loss in the Canadian Masters. Now she's had a pretty good run here. 3 nice wins, one versus Keys, one versus Kudmetova, and one versus Jabir yesterday, where she really put it on her. But I just, before that, she was really, really struggling. Head-to-head matchup-wise, Kvitova has been a little bit better on hard courts, but they're about 50-50. I believe Kvitova has won 8 of them. Kerber's won 7 of them overall as head-to-head matchups, and maybe a little bit of nod to Kvitova on the hard courts, but I just really like the way Kerber's playing here. I think Kerber's the one to move on. She's really had a really nice game going for a couple months now, while Kvitova has really not played well up until this tournament. So will be interesting to see how this plays out, but we're going to lay our money on Kerber getting those 2.5 games here. All right, let's have some fun and move to the NFL preseason. We've been pretty successful so far on our preseason bets, and we'll hope that continues today. We're going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals, and we're going to go in the race to 20 plus 350. Love these odds. 350, you're getting Cincinnati in the race to 20. I really do think maybe Washington plays a little bit better in that first and second quarter, but by the second half, I look for Washington to sort of power it down a little bit, and I think the Bengals will make a little push here, and I think they will be the first ones to get to that 20 points if they can get to that 20 points. They had 19 in their first week in the preseason game. So look for him to up it a little bit and push the offense a little bit here. I just don't think you could turn down that plus 350 on that race to 20 for the Cincinnati Bengals. So Cincinnati Bengals race to 20 plus 350. Really, really like that line. That's where we're going on the preseason today. Also tonight, we're going in the WNBA. We're going to take the Seattle Storm minus 8.5 versus the New York Liberty. Now, did they just play 2 days ago? They did indeed. Did the New York Liberty win? They did. Seattle's been a little bit on a losing streak, and that's why I like them to turn it around here. So we're going to ride the Seattle Storm at minus 8.5 versus the New York Liberty, really to put it on them. I believe Seattle's lost 3 straight. That's really as many games that they had pretty much lost all season coming into that point. But I look for them to get it back here. They've had a couple days to play, playing back-to-back. I just look for Seattle, the better team, really in this matchup, to really put it on New York, especially after that loss a couple days ago. So Seattle Storm minus 8.5 over the New York Liberty. All right, let's move on to soccer. We got a whole lot of soccer to bet on. Let's talk about the EPL. These will all be tomorrow morning around 9 a.m., I believe, Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to start off with Watford, plus 475 versus Brighton. I thought Brighton really got lucky in that matchup last week. It was a very nice luck because we took Brighton and we gave you that winner, but I did not like how they played. Really, I think they should have lost that game. But anyway, they got the win, and now who we liked and what we saw from last week, Watford, I think they probably have the better team here. I look for them at this plus 75 on the three-way. I don't think you can turn that down because I think these teams really do match up really, really well, talent level-wise. Maybe a little bit better coaching on Brighton, but I think Watford might just be the better team overall. They are going on the road, but plus 475. Really, really like that. Look for Watford to get off to a good start. They played great last week versus Aston Villa. And continuing the teams who have come from the championship up, and that we're taking Brentford. Also looked really, really good last week. They're playing someone who also looked really, really bad last week. I really don't even know if Crystal Palace will be able to stay out of the regulation zones this year. So we're gonna take Brentford here at plus 180. Really like that. We got two also goal props on there. We're gonna take Ivan Toney to get a goal at plus 140. We're gonna take Brian Mbio to also get a goal at plus 333. So Brentford at plus 180 on the three-way, Brian Mbio on the goal plus 330, and Ivan Toney on the goal at plus 140. So a lot to do with Brentford there. Really love the way they looked versus Arsenal last week. I just love this team all through the championship. They really play good football. They got two great guys up front who really connect in Mbio and Toney, and I think they'll really unnerve Crystal Palace, who look to have their defensive struggles last week. So I look for that to continue this week. Should be an interesting game. All right, we're going to move on to Aston Villa, who did not look so good versus Watford, but I think Aston Villa going back home versus Newcastle, who really let one slip versus West Ham last week after getting out to the hot start. But I think Aston Villa at home, I look for them to be a team challenging for that top 10. They just ran into a buzzsaw last week at Watford, who really, really played well. I look for them to get back on track here. Minus 125 on the three-way. Really do like that for Aston Villa at home. And lastly, we got a couple Manchester City ones. We're going to go with Manchester City plus 160 to win, both teams to score. Really do think this is a nice little bet here. If you watched 2 years ago when Norwich came up and played, they actually upset Manchester City. So I think there's a way for Norwich City to score. So I think that could be a nice little run. I don't think Manchester City is quite flowing on all cylinders. They should be able to get plenty of opportunities here versus Norwich. The way they gave them up versus Liverpool, I look for Manchester City to create even more. So I don't worry about them losing this time around, but I do think they might get struck. So plus 160 to win, both teams to score. And speaking of that, the person who scored, I believe he scored a hat trick 2 years ago versus Manchester City, and that's Timo Pukki. So we're going with Timo Pukki getting a goal at plus 333. Really like that value. Now, granted, it was a different Manchester City back line, but Pukki just has a way to find goals, and at plus 333, I don't think you can turn that down. All right, we'll move on from the Premier League to La Liga, and we got one today in La Liga. Real Betis is playing Cadiz. They played twice last year. Both matches, Real Betis won, and they won 1-0. So with that, I think the game will play out in a similar way. So we're going with Real Betis with the win and under the 2.5 total goals. That sits at plus 240, so really like that value. I'd really like that one. I just, if you're looking for an easy one to take, I think Real Betis on the three-way is pretty good, but I think you get a little bit better value here, especially since I think this goal total will go under. Two teams who will sort of play a defensive style of football. Now, Real Betis is a little more open when they're home, but with the way this game played out last year, I think much the similar game. So look for a 1-0, 2-0 here for Real Betis. So Real Betis to win under 2.5 total goals at plus 240. And that's what we got in La Liga. Let's move on to PSG playing in Ligue A today. We're going with PSG minus the one handicap, minus 140 versus Brest. Brest will definitely sit back and try to make this thing ugly, but I think PSG will be able to handle that. Maybe we get a little preview of Messi today. I don't know if he'll be quite fit, but I have a feeling we might get a little bit of a sub of Messi on today, a little bit. But we're going with his Argentina partner here in Angel Di Maria. We're going with him to score, PSG to win at plus 150. So, two bets on PSG today. PSG minus the one, minus 140. And Angel Di Maria to score, PSG to win, plus 150. So let's move on to the Bundesliga. And this one's more I think this is a good bet here at Hertha Berlin plus 110 versus Wolfsburg. I did not like the way Wolfsburg looked last week. Hertha Berlin is always really, really tough at home. So we went Hertha Berlin plus 110, draw no bet. This really does have the feel of a draw, but I think Hertha might be able to pull away if Wolfsburg continues their very poor play. Just didn't like their body language last week. So we're going Hertha Berlin plus 110, draw no bet versus Wolfsburg. So tons of action today, tons of bets that we have on the board today. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe to us. We'll be back tomorrow with Winning Daily. Be sure to check out our college football preview with Dynamite David. We tackled the Mountain West and the Pac-12. We also had the MAC and Sun Belt in week 1, and AAC and Conference USA in 2 weeks ago. So we got all sorts of college football preview. We're about to drop our NFL preview of the AFC East, NFC East. So a lot of action coming to you from the Greenlight Network. You don't want to miss that. Like and subscribe. I'm Champ Chesterfield. That's our show, and we're out.